I am super excited about today's episode. I have a very special guest, ChelsiJo. Chelsi is my systems coach, and she has taught me a lot about systemizing my home and my business so that I can escape overwhelm and continue to build what God has called me to build without sacrificing my family and myself. Chelsi is a wife, a mom, a CEO, a top-ranked podcaster, and systems-obsessed professional on a mission to help every mom create the consistent income she wants and needs without sacrificing her home or herself in the process. From time blocking and fundamental needs to workflows and team management, Chelsi's strategic systems are the key to every modern working woman's success, and I can testify 1,000% about that. Welcome to Start That Business podcast, where I help Christian moms working a corporate job launch their first coaching or consulting business from scratch without quitting their jobs yet. If that sounds like you are in the right place. My name is Chichi. I am a Jesus follower, an entrepreneur for 13 years, a mom of 3, and a Christian business coach. I interviewed Chelsi on my podcast in April of this year, and it was such a game-changing conversation. So I invited her again, and this time around I said, Chelsi, take my mic. She's going to talk about how to go from overwhelmed to organized in your home and your business, because if your home is disorganized, you will not be able to create the time to work on that business God is calling you to start. But Chelsi is going to help us fix that on today's episode. You're going to love Chelsi. You're in for a treat. So if you're excited, like I am, tune out the traffic, silence the distractions, and let's get started.
Today's episode is not just another productivity pep talk with a bunch of steps on how you're going to get it done. This is actually a moment to pause, to breathe, and to take a really hard look at what we're building and what it's actually costing us. There will be steps. There will be practical takeaway information. But the truth is, you can't keep going day after day, and you know it, hoping that something is going to change. Nothing is going to change until you do. And that might be the hardest part. You keep saying, well, I'll slow down when things calm down, but they actually never do. As the kids get older, they get busier, they get more capable, they get harder to wrangle, honestly. If you're listening to this and you have little kids, it does get better, but it's still the same level of mothering and parenting and quote unquote chaos that everyone talks about. And if we're not careful about how we shape and shift the decisions of today, that automatically already creates a groove for tomorrow. You keep saying that you'll focus on your home when the business gets going, or I'll focus on the business and making that feel a little less chaotic and less overwhelming once I get the clutter under control. I know what it feels like to be stuck in the mess, to feel like the only way to stay afloat is to move faster. I've watched people around me do this my entire life, and it is a lie. The faster you run on that hamster wheel, ever seen a video of it, friend? The more likely you are to get tossed around and completely obliterated. Like, they run fast enough, they start getting flipped around in that thing and they get ejected immediately. Trust me, that's not what it takes in order to juggle your home and your business. It's essentially not what it takes at all to be successful in business. And there are some people on the internet that I am just so sick of watching them celebrate. Like, literally saw a post today of a major, very successful, as I'm doing air quotes, a female entrepreneur that is promoting the success of her students and their hustle. Like, the words I've hustled so hard to get here, so I bought myself XYZ with all the money that they made through the hustle. And like, that's not it. That's not it. And it's never going to be it. You don't have to hustle. You don't have to be drowning. You don't have to sacrifice or press pause on anything. You can absolutely be still, be quiet, love hard, and make consistent money that doesn't burn you out in the process. So what's the shift? What is it going to take? Why aren't more people talking about this? You have to learn to honor the mundane. And I feel so strongly about this. It's not a distraction from your life. The mundane is not a distraction. It is your life. And it's your greatest opportunity to create peace, a legacy, and purpose in your home and in your business. Are you excited about this episode? Well, if you are, and this is speaking exactly to your soul, I want to personally invite you to my free 5-day escape challenge that is kicking off September 22nd. Monday, September 22nd is day one of the free 5-day challenge. We're going to walk through the actual systems that are going to help you get out of this cycle of constant overwhelm. We're going to be tackling the most chaotic parts of your home and your business one by one every single day. I'm walking you through it, and you're going to walk away with real structure and hope, clarity, and peace. The door prizes are amazing. We've got incredible giveaways. There is an entire workbook. If you go right now to ChelsiJo.co/escape challenge, you will immediately be sent an email and you can download your workbook right there. You'll also get access into the entire challenge group where we are going to be hanging out as we are gathering more friends. You're sharing it with your friends and more people are coming in. We're going to have weekly door prizes, and we're also going to have some incredible challenge prizes that you are not going to want to miss out on. Head over to ChelsiJo.co/escape challenge to save your spot. Bring a friend, forward this to a mom who needs it. We're going to head over into the escape challenge starting Monday, September 22nd. It's going to be incredible. Now, just as a little bit of a taste of the big, extraordinary deep dive that we're going to be going into when you head over to the escape challenge, I'm going to tiptoe into something in this episode that I'm actually not specifically covering inside of the escape challenge. We're getting down into some really nitty-gritty parts of the systems that you need in your home and your business. But right now, I need to paint the picture for you about 5 really specific shifts that you can make in your mundane every single day in order to change that mundane into your masterpiece. So if you're taking notes mentally or on paper, I want you to follow along here with these 5 main shifts that I want you to make. And sometimes these shifts are physical, things that you need to do, and some of them are mental. First and foremost, right out the gate, if you are trying to make your day-to-day mundane turn into the actual legacy, like your masterpiece, you're literally in love with the nooks and crannies of your life, and you're not skating over them just with hustle and busyness, right? The first thing that you need to do in order to get there is to delete social media from your phone. That is not what you thought I was going to say. When I went to make this episode, I was like, did that just come out? Like, is that number one? Did that just come out? And it did. If you're constantly checking your phone for connection, validation, or inspiration, it's stealing every single moment that you're trying to be present for because you're chasing it in your phone. Just remove the noise immediately. Like, literally delete the apps. I promise. Like, I do this constantly in my life. I use Instagram as a tool for my business, a way for me to connect. And sometimes I get joy out of the reels that me and my friends send to each other. So that's a real thing. However, there is no more joy to be had than the joy that happens in real life. So you will be able to go back and re-download the app and it will auto sign you back in. Nothing is lost. Literally nothing is lost. You will pick right back up where you started off. Trust me, even if it's just temporarily, and that is definitely what I'm suggesting, or you could definitely get rid of it permanently. That's totally on you, but you are immediately going to notice how much space returns to your brain and to your heart. Second shift I need you to make is number 2, wake up on time. Ooh, this is pretty triggering, Chels. What are we doing here? Well, I'm just going for the jugular. I'm getting right to the things that I know are absolutely robbing you every single day. And no, you don't need to be up at 5 a.m., but you do need to get up on time. Like, you don't need to change your life with a 4:45 a.m. wake up call, but you need to get up on time, and you know what time that is. And it's not the same time that your children are waking up, just in case I needed to mention that. You need to stop hitting snooze. Stop doing that. Make the very first promise of the day to yourself and keep it. Wake up before the chaos. Get some clarity, get some calm, get some control in your life. Your day should not start as a reaction. It should start as an intention. So start waking up on time. Number 3, this is a great one. Here's a huge shift. I need you to start prioritizing your fundamental needs. If you haven't been around here very much or for very long, then maybe you're not familiar with my fundamental needs. But I can help you get familiar with a lot of other episodes that I have recorded. But essentially, you are the heartbeat of your home and your business. And if you're not prioritizing the core fundamental things that you need to have happen in your week as the heartbeat of the home, as the heartbeat of your business, what are the things that you need to prioritize in order to have that heart beating stronger than ever? If you ignore the most basic needs like sleep and movement, nourishment, silence, getting through really important to-dos, keeping up with the cooking and the cleaning, these are foundational, fundamental things. There's 8 of them that I teach. You can learn them for free all over the internet. They're just all over my website, right? They're all over this podcast. You can go and learn them. I specifically teach you how I've been able to keep my soul alive while building a business and raising a family. It's not a luxury. It is your foundation. And yes, you get to learn exactly what this looks like from me. It's no secret. There's no gatekeeping. You can go to ChelsiJo.co to find all of it. But we are diving really deep into these topics and into this subject over inside of the Escape Challenge. So I think it's really important that you go snag your seat right now, but that you also take this entire podcast episode very seriously, because it is an opportunity right now, just by having these earbuds in your ears, to make serious change in your day-to-day, just with these simple shifts. Let's look at number 4. This one, ooh, wow. Number 4 and number 5, they make me almost weepy. They make me emotional. That's how much I care about this. Number 4 is to capitalize on the boring tasks. And I think everybody's missing it. I think everybody is missing it. I really do. Washing the dishes, folding the laundry, making lunches, these are not meaningless chores. These are sacred rhythms in your home. They're sacred. They're literally sacred. Now, do I get it right every single time? No, I don't. But every single time that I pick up Bailey May's cup, I pray over her. And I say thanks for her. And I give gratitude for what we have in the mundane. Now, I don't know what your story is. You don't necessarily need to hear all of mine in this podcast episode. But what I do know is that every single one of us has a lot to be grateful for, even in the hard times. And these boring tasks, the things that we don't want to do, that we push off, that massive load of laundry, that huge heaping pile of dishes, there's such an opportunity for you there. There's so many different ways that you can capitalize on this. I want you to smile when you plate your family's food. I want you to sing when you fold the clothes. There's so much joy to be found. Let these tasks become your safe haven and your sanctuary, not your burden. This is where you begin to paint your masterpiece. This is the space where you don't really know how much people are watching you. Like your babies are watching you. This is such a golden opportunity for every single one of us. And I would have been remiss not to talk about it because it's a huge part of what I do every single day. It's a huge part of how I choose to exist in my own home. And I know that every single day we both are going to come up against decisions that are good. Like the decision this weekend for me to play all weekend because there was an amazing CrossFit competition about 1.5 miles from my house. And I was like, hey, yeah, we're going. And no, I didn't do any of those mundane, boring tasks. I did not. And I'm drowning now. And I started my week absolutely drowning. And those are decisions that we make, and that's okay. But if you're chronically living in that space and it's not for a special occasion, that's when we really need to take a closer look. All right. Number 5, the last and final shift is to make communication your next best skill set. This one's juicy. Let's talk about what this means. I'll say it again. Make communication your next best skill set. Maybe it already is, and that's amazing. If communication isn't your best skill set, let's dive into this. I want you to start thinking about every time that you have the opportunity to interact, it's not about getting through the day. It's about connecting through your day. And how do we connect and how do we relate to people? Well, mainly through communication. It also can be through touch, but predominantly it's communication. So here's what I want you to really think about. If you're all the way here in this podcast episode, you're sold, you're bought in, you're here. And this one is the deepest and my favorite. I have such a sweet spot in my heart for communication as being a professional interpreter for many, many, many years. And language acquisition and just knowing a lot about what communication does and having a communication minor in college. And it all just is very fascinating to me. And I've used that and applied that in my home. When you take communication and you use it and you have a mental shift in your mind and in your heart to know that communication is actually a skill set that you can use to help you not just suffer and die in the mundane every day, but even with your smallest babies. This was my favorite part of being a mom to little ones was language acquisition, was communication. I was constantly teaching them language. I am bilingual, obviously, as an interpreter. And so I was even more passionate about it because I wanted to give them access to both languages, but just communication in general. And I'm still very excited, obviously, about it. Here's what you can do. Here's some really practical things that you can think about. This is what I'm thinking about all day long when I'm interacting with my family. Let's talk specifically about our kids. I want you to learn what makes your kids roll their eyes, what makes them giggle. Like just today, I was like, oh my gosh, like Bailey laughed really hard at something. And I was like, that totally lights her up. And she was watching people do a very specific type of dance, and she lit up in her face. And I was like, noted. Those are the little things that are being communicated on a regular basis. Also, what makes your spouse feel seen? Study it, practice it. Use language as an opportunity to connect with your kids. Use communication as an opportunity for you in the mundane of, hey, it's time to get up. It's time to get ready for the day. I'm always looking for a way to strategically target my language to get the result and the outcome for everybody in the family that we all want. And nobody else in my household is caring about this like I am. This is a skill set. And this is honestly one of the most beautiful pieces of my masterpiece in my home. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. I want you to go build your masterpiece in your mundane, in your day-to-day, in your home. And I want you to think about that. And how can you use communication and the skill set of communication in order to get you that? Because deep down, connection does not happen by accident. It's very intentional. And this is a way, all five of these shifts are a way that you can bring intention. If you're tired of running in circles and this sounds like a brilliant idea and has given you a little bit of hope and inspiration, I really cannot wait to hang out with you over inside of the Escape Challenge. This is your sign, friend. If you feel like you're drowning in tasks and to-dos, join us over there, ChelsiJo.co/Escape Challenge. I'm going to show you how to rebuild your home and your business with intention, and it would be my honor to lead you through that. Please know that you don't need to shift every single aspect of your life. You don't need a different life. You don't need a different season. You don't need a different schedule. You don't have to hustle harder. You literally can just make a few small shifts and your mundane will magically start transforming into a masterpiece right in front of your own eyes. Thanks for hanging out with me here.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I pray it made you feel seen, taught you something new, and encouraged you to take action. If so, would you please share this episode with someone in your world who needs help to transition from a corporate job to a thriving business? If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to move from wondering to doing, I invite you to go to fromjobtobusiness.com to book your transition clarity call today. In just 60 minutes, you will get clarity from where you are now to where God is calling you to be in your business. You will leave with confidence and concrete next steps. Lastly, it will be a huge blessing to me if you could leave a review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app you are using to listen. This is the number one way I know you are getting value from the podcast. Until next time, always remember your expertise is needed, your calling is real, and I'm here to help you make it happen. So keep listening for more episodes. I'll meet you here next week.